way to start with. That can skip over a lot of things. More accurately, who doesn't know what an Arduino is? All right. Who knows what an Arduino is, but really doesn't know what they might want to use it for? All right. Who knows what they might want to use it for, but doesn't know how to use it? All right. This is the humble Arduino, the Uno, because it came out in 2011, right? Yeah, 2011. Yeah. It is an open source... Yeah, 2011, all right. They have the new name every year with different revisions and modifications to it. But this is the Arduino. Blue, white, got a little circuit chip on there, a USB, power jack, a little quartz crystal, a button for things, lots of pin headers and stuff. And
I didn't see there were chips.
it looks fairly simple, really. It's open source hardware, which means the designs are available online. Anybody can go onto the internet, arduino.cc, and it's happily labeled on the back. You go online, it's got an open source license, download a copy of the sources, send it off to like a PCB maker or something. They'll assemble it for you, or you can assemble it yourself. You know, it's got all the specs, all the chips are documented, the software is available for it. And you can modify it if you find a bug something or you want to improve it. Maybe you found a better chip, then you can pop it in there and submit it back to the Arduino organization, and they'll incorporate it into the next design, the next release. And it's pretty popular for like getting into electronics. Like, this is really the first step a lot of people recommend if you want to do anything more than just have lights blink or do some really simple circuitry kits.
There's a chair here and a chair here for anybody who wants, because there isn't a whole lot of room to be putting chairs out.
Yeah, we should grab those chairs so we don't fill it with more.
Yeah.
Don't take that one with the jacket on it, because I need to do stuff on the screen.
Yeah, this chair's taken, but these two are open.
If you are interested in acquiring one immediately, SynHak has these available for $35. That's like the lowest price you'll find anywhere around, even Radio Shack. We ourselves buy them for $30 in bulk, so $5 goes to the space, yay us. To use the Arduino, that's kind of a vague word, actually, using it. It's more like you can program it and then you wire it up with your hardware. So to program it, you take a USB cable. We got a big old box here full of them. It's a USB-B for those who care that much about the standard. It's not a micro, it's not a mini, it's one of those, apparently they're coated in grease. It's one of these little square ones. So plug it in, plug it into your laptop, and or your computer or whatever. It should start up and just start blinking, like really simple, just blink, blink, blink. And I will plug it into my laptop real quick so you can see what it does by default. It's not all that exciting. So it starts up, and then my computer starts probing it, asking questions, lights start blinking, while it tries to figure out if it's a modem or a GPS device or something. And this little LED right there, labeled L, that's wired up to pin 13 on here, and it should just start blinking. There it goes, blink, 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 blink. And I'll just take this little LED, I'll plug it in there. Now the other way. Are you going to blink for me? I shouldn't have looked at that. So it's blinking. Cool.
Our LEDs here are really bright.
Yeah, and I think the box says green. They might not all be green because during moving they all kind of got shuffled around, the red and the blue, and they're all clear. So, I mean, yeah, I know. Yeah,
but they are really bright, so don't do what Trevor just did. You okay there, bud?
One eye is. And in addition to the hardware being open source, there is a development environment that is entirely open source. It's written in Java, so it'll run slow on all platforms. I'm going to unlock this real quick. So here's the website. It's arduino.cc. It's made in Italy. And, you know, it gives you a description. It says, let's just do this real quick so you can all read that. Arduino is an open source electronics prototyping platform based on flexible, easy to use hardware and software. It's intended for artists, designers, hobbyists, and anyone else interested in creating interactive objects or environments. It can sense the environment or receiving input from a variety of sensors and can affect its surroundings by controlling lights, motors, and other actuators. Pretty vague, I know, right? Once you start using Arduino, you get a lot more familiar with it and more intimate. you'll really start to unlock the potential and see what it's really good for. So, if you go on there, you can go up to the top here and click on download, and it'll take you to another page where you can download the development environment, which it's got installation instructions for all your various operating systems. It looks like that. Pretty simple. It opens up and it's just blank, and that still looks pretty daunting, I guess. So I'm going to look at an example, a basic example, the blank example, in fact. This is the code it comes with. It's kind of hard to see, but it says, yeah. So I've got a variable here called LED. It's pin number 13, which is what it's wired up to on the hardware.
Can you bring up the text size on that by chance?
Maybe.
Does Control++ work?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Mouse wheel. I swear it'll work. Control mouse wheel.
Just move the projector back.
And then it gets all blurry. I'll do this other way. So, the environment is pretty simple. It's just got a little check mark up there so you can verify that your code actually works, or it's actually going to work, or compile rather, so it's all syntactically correct. This looks a bit better. Are you not going to let me zoom in too? Default text editor.
Full screen it.
Full screen. Yeah, let's cut off half the side.
F11.
Yeah, well,
That code is C or C++?
it is C++ technically, with a little bit of framework around it. So, first thing that happens when the Arduino boots up is it looks for a setup function, which is the first thing it runs right out of the box, where you can do one-time setup of the system. And in this case, we're taking the LED pin and telling it it's going to be used for output. Each of the pins on there can be used for input and output. There are, I had that, where did I just put it?
What are you looking for?
Another Arduino. These little headers on the side there, it's got 13 inputs and outputs on one side. Those are all digital. And then it's got 5 analog inputs and outputs on the other side. Or sorry, 5 analog inputs. Where you can read a value on here ranging from 0 to 255. And on all the digitals, you can output a 1 or a 0. It's on or off. In addition, some of these numbers on here, they've got little tilde squiggly things running from it. That means pulse width modulated, which means that there's some extra code you can call in here that I'll just turn the pins on and off really fast. And using persistence of vision with a human, that's how you end up with this clock over here, where it basically, you set it to a value, and it's a frequency at which the LEDs blink. You can't tell they're blinking. I mean, well, you can see they're blinking, but see how they're fading in and out? That's the pulse width modulation, making it blink faster and faster and faster until it's pretty much solid on, and then starts blinking slower and slower and slower until it's pretty much solid off. So that's how you get fading and stuff, is you just set these little pins with the squiggly marks to some kind of blink rate. It's really fast, you can't tell it's blinking. Arduino knows it's blinking. That's also done with this little helmet thing I made a while ago. You can just kind of see it fade in and out, and gets angry, and then gets happy. So, a lot of this content for this is from this person called Lady Ada, named after Lady Ada Byron. She runs Adafruit Industries, a really nice hobby shop in New York City for electronics enthusiasts. And all this is available. I'll send it out to the mailing list, in fact. And it tells you how... Oh, you can't see that up there. I forgot it's not mirrored. And you can see lesson 0. Make sure your Arduino and your computer is ready. Then you do a simple blinking light. Then a little bit of code. Add some more complex components. Do some real serial communications with it. Control other things. Buttons and switches. Do more LEDs. And then start looking at the laws of electricity, Ohm's law and all that stuff. Any questions so far? Okay. I originally planned this.
Oh, actually, I have a question on how, like, I know that this is something everybody probably knows, but what's the difference between the analog and the digital inputs? Like, how would I, if I were using both of those, how would I know to use one of the 13 pins that are digital and one of the...
It depends if you care, if it's, like, if you want to use a digital, if you care if an input is on or off. You only care if there's something there or if there's something not. You'll use a digital input. If you want something more in between in analog, like you want to know if a dimmer switch is set to full power, kind of in the middle, a little more towards the low end, or off. That's the analog. Because at about halfway through there, it jumps from being digital off to digital on, 1 or 0. And that's what the analogs are for. You normally won't use analogs unless you're doing something analog. For 90% of the things you'll do, it'll just be the digital pins.
Is the analog capable of putting a microphone in, getting good resolution off a microphone? And is the digital capable of like something like a modem?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes to just the last part, or yes
all
to
of that,
both of
actually.
them? Okay.
For, depends on the microphone really you want to use. Like if you want to use like one of those discrete condenser microphones, those tiny little black button things with just like 2 pins coming out of it, you just plug that right in there and just get some readings off of it.
And you would say that would be better if you use it with the analog and not the digital, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because sound is an analog thing,
Okay.
and you're going to either detect that there is noise or detect that you're not hearing anything. And just the way microphones work, more often than not, you're going to hear something.
Right.
So
you can sample off those analog and get a
Yeah.
steady stream of
you just
sound value.
ask the pin, what's your value right now, what's your value right now, what's your value right now. You just kind of ask it really fast, and that's just a sample rate. And I could go into that for a long while. I'm a multimedia developer at heart, so let's not go into that. That'll be here all night. So the course here was actually originally planned where everybody was going to have a laptop and y'all would be able to start working on getting an Arduino hooked up and install the software. Man.
Is the software installed on that guy?
No, actually, part of the class wasn't learning to install it. You want to learn to install it?
Let's learn to install it.
All right, let's do that.
Okay.
Go to
Chris.
Arduino.
I assume it's in download. Am I jumping ahead?
Yeah.
Yes, that's good, or yes, I'm jumping ahead?
No, you're not jumping ahead. Yes, it's on download.
Oh, by the way, the password for that user account is password.
All right. So.
But wait, that got on video. Everyone's gonna know your password now.
Oh,
For
God.
Test user account.
So, yeah, go ahead.
We do 64-bit, right? Linux.
Yeah.
You know what's on that 64-bit?
64, right?
Magic Black terminal. You named that sharp.
I don't know. I'm not going to the magic black screen.
Should work anyway.
You're probably not familiar with this. So, here, activities, Firefox, and then to Arduino.cc.
64. All right.
And there's how you spell it. Sorry about that.
Open with or save file.
Save. We'll use the terminal like real people.
I don't want what?
wget.
I don't want to use the terminal. It's scary.
Well, then you can just double click the file when it's done downloading and extract it somewhere.
What? Desk has a back.
If somebody would like to, do you have the IDE on your laptop, Andy?
No, I have the Prism editor, which is just a fancy text editor.
Well, if somebody wants to install it on Andy's, if that's okay with you, that'd be cool.
Well, let me watch her do this one, and then I'll have someone go through with mine.
Sounds good.
All right. Do I open Arduino? That's a text file.
Yep.
Tools.
Oh.
See, that's what I got too. It's just a bunch of examples. There's nothing there that says install this.
Phone.
That's what I keep on the keyboard.
Arduino.
There's oh, I saw how to text.
And the Arduino part. Ah! Oh! Found it!
Another dash skip there.
This laptop, I would guess.
This.
Yeah, it looks like an installation.
Yeah.
Yeah, 64.
Try tools.
Hang on. And save
On
file.
to text. On to text.
Hey, bud.
Yeah.
What's the Arduino magic screen called?
Did you extract it?
IDK.
You'll need to extract the files.
Ah, that's smart.
We'll just drop it there, I guess.
Anytime you show me this stuff, I feel so pretty.
I dropped it there. Where'd it go?
You put it in the
No,
downloads,
I
right?
thought I did not. Alright, so downloads. Arduino. Run Arduino.
Run it. Okay.
It's just a file named Arduino.
Arduino.
Dot something.
In Windows, it's arduino.exe. In Linux, it's just a small shell script because the whole system's written in Java.
And this is like a small IDE for it.
Yeah. Got it.
And then there's... Where am I
Just
looking?
click extract up there.
Then there are examples.
And then
You can probably open them from the IDE.
Yeah, those are all zip files, I believe.
close that.
So open them from the
Go
IDE.
like to open and then go to downloads.
Examples. There we go.
Hey, you can pull the examples.
Downloads.
Right.
Arduino. The other one. Sorry. The directory. And then double click Arduino. Run in.
I want to look at the fade because the math on that sounds like fun.
You get a second, it'll start up.
It probably just counts from 0 to 256.
It's not the analog thing though.
Just set up this one.
Is it pulse width modulated?
I don't know, I'm reading.
Fade them out.
Because otherwise, we won't have access to the serial device. All right. So go ahead, poke around with the examples in there if you want, and have a look. See, they're under File, Examples.
Why does it
Look at
keep
the
blinking like
basics
that? I
and-
don't like it.
The connection is really
That'll be the
bad
first one
for
on
the
there. You can plug the
video.
Arduino in and start programming.
Yeah, it's on pin 9, so it's digital.
Fade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at different examples.
Yeah, go ahead and explore a little bit.
Yeah, anybody else here? Yeah, I can do this all day.
So for this one, we had to go and install the drivers manually because it wasn't connected, and under Tools, we only had COM3 to select, and it did not work. So close that. Had to go to Control Panel, right click. Wait, no, Computer Properties. Go to our Device Manager, and underneath here, we have to go to Ports, COM and LPT. And it was not showing up as an Arduino, but instead it was showing up under other devices as unknown. So on the other devices, you had to click, right click, and then do update driver, and then you had to do browse the computer software, and we had to go to just the Arduino/drivers directory. And when you do the drivers directory, it does not show you the files. You don't get to see Arduino Uno.inf. So you kind of have to blindly select the drivers folder wherever you installed your Arduino files. So it'd be Arduino/drivers, and then hit OK. And then hopefully you'd hear a conduct noise, and that would mean that it's actually installing that driver. And when it's done, you should actually see the Arduino show up as it's named underneath ports and LPT. Once that is done, you go back into your IDE, fade in Arduino 1.0.3, and then you can do Tools. Underneath Tools, you can select the serial port, and here you can see now we have COM4, and we can actually select the Arduino. Once that is done, you can hit Upload, which will compile, link, and run it, and then upload it to the Arduino.
Okay, now I don't feel like a
Box of wires.
idiot for
And as you can see, the fade-in program is working. So we're all set to go. What a pain in the ass.
About a year ago, that
I have a what?
A
what?
Light wheel.
Oh, yeah.
Color wheel.
No, it's like the colors of what, like if you combine.
It's pretty neat.
To see what you get, yeah. Because it's not regular.
So that one's the tiny one?
Yeah.
Sweet. Just gonna load some blinky stuff on it.
Yeah. I don't think I have everything right though.
Alright. We'll come back then.
Alright.